with the city's recently created Justice Fund. Well, turning now to a day we will never forget as LA's first responders come together to honor the victims and those who made the ultimate sacrifice 16 years ago. Rasha Goel takes us to the ceremony.
LAFD Chief Rolf Terrazas and LAPD Chief Charlie Beck together rang a bell as a tribute to the heroes who died in the September 11th attacks. It's a 200-year-old tradition that today symbolizes the ultimate sacrifices of those that lost their lives in the tragic attacks.
And when a firefighter had died in the line of duty, paying the ultimate sacrifice, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced the comrade's passing.
The Los Angeles Fire Department held its annual remembrance ceremony at the Frank Hodgkin Memorial Training Center, honoring the nearly 3,000 people and 400 first responders that were killed.
9/11 is described as one of those where were you moments in our nation's history. We all remember where we were.
We're remembering all that occurred on that day, but remembering also our responsibility to preserve the freedoms that are so important in our nation, to honor and to say thank you each and every single day to our first responders.
This year, New York Fire Department Captain Oreo Palmer was honored. After a plane hit the South Tower, Palmer took the elevator up to the 41st floor and then ran up 37 flights of stairs to the impact zone on the 78th floor.
And knowing that his chances for survival were slim, the man still ran up to the 78th floor to try to save lives. Lives of people he did not know. For that brave action, Oreo Palmer is a hero.
So today, as we recognize the sacrifice of so many, we commit to sacrifices of our own. And that's why we come together. That's why we're here.
It's a time to not only reflect on the memories, but to also honor those who protect us in the present.
It's about thanking those who are with us today, who is ready on any moment's notice to risk their lives to help others.
I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Ever see those white lines marked on the street and wonder why they're there? Well, they're there for good reason, and if you're a homeowner, these markings can help prevent a disaster. Rasha Goel has more on the importance of these utility-marked lines.
Yana, I'm in Woodland Hills, and what you see behind me is a home that was damaged in a fire explosion just a few months ago. Now, this all happened after a contracted plumber accidentally hit a gas line. But thanks to Jeff Kcon, a SoCal Gas engineer technician, and Hector Rocha, a SoCal Gas customer service rep, the couple was able to get out of their house after they reported a possible gas leak. The home exploded in flames a short time later.
Without the gas company's initiative and getting those residents out, we would have had a much different outcome.
When you're about to dig, whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, we want you to call 811. It is a service called Dig Alert. It's a free service. When you call, it causes us, utilities like SoCal Gas and other utilities, to come out and mark and identify underground locations so that you can dig safely.
Officials say almost 3,000 incidents can be prevented if people would call and have utility lines marked.
You have to remember, things as shallow as a fence post or a fence or a mailbox could be just deep enough to where you could hit a natural gas line or an electrical utility.
One call is all it takes to save your home and life. In Woodland Hills, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
811 is a national phone number designated by the FCC. Over in downtown LA, cross the street and you could get ticketed, even if you beat the clock. A vague traffic signal law has led to thousands of citations over the years. As Gil Reyes reports, local leaders want to clear the confusion by changing the law.
Not a problem. Let me see your identification, please. I'm trying to explain things to you. If you don't want to hear it, it's not a problem for me.
This jaywalking stop in downtown Los Angeles caused an uproar a couple years back. Many people calling this incident unfair. College student Eduardo Lopez was fined $200 for beginning to cross the street when the light's countdown clock had already started. A year later, another pedestrian, Samuel Chu, was ticketed by a downtown officer for the same reason.
He was actually on his motorcycle sitting there, and he was waiting for me to get to the other side. And I made it before the countdown had ended, and he just looked at me and pulled me aside and said that I'm going to cite you.
That's because even if you make the light, it's illegal to begin crossing the street after the blinking hand and countdown appear. That is the rule in California. But Assemblyman Miguel Santiago wants to change that rule. He's co-authored a measure that would make crossing okay as long as you've made it fully across the street by the time the countdown ends. Councilmember Jose Huizar supports it.
And you be the judge. The person crossing the street needs to be the judge. Can I make it in 10 seconds? Can I make it in 3 seconds? That's going to be the law, and it's going to be very clear. So they won't get cited simply for crossing the street. This is going to be very important for dense areas like downtown LA, but also citywide,
where more and more people are walking and bicycling to work. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The bill was introduced after Councilmember Huizar authored a city resolution calling on the state to update its traffic laws. The bill has now passed both houses of the state legislature and is headed to the governor's desk for his signature. Switching gears now, as more than 25 LA female students become the new creators of smartphone robots. The idea comes from Cal State LA's College of Engineering, Computer Science and Technology in an effort to encourage more women to go into science careers. Anna Marcos drops in for a look. Anna.
Yana, I know nothing about computers, robots, or engineering, but I do know that I can make this cell phone with a picture of a kitty on it work with this remote control. Now, these girls here are learning the nitty-gritty of how to make this all happen, put it together, with Cal State LA's Launchpad Summer Program.
There it is. Oh, I lost it. Can you make it?
Lesson number 1. To design and create a dancing kitty phone, you will need to solder, cut, and mess around with lots of wires.
If you want to build a robot that actually moves, you're going to need the wiring to actually power it.
You can see the looks of focus, concentration, discovery, and victory on these girls' faces as they solve problems, all the while learning principles of science, engineering, physics, math, and, well, how to make things work.
No, it's bad because then we have to resolder. Yeah. We have to resolder this wire because we have to strip this wire deeper. But okay, go straight. Get a wedge shot. We'll do this right here. Don't go don't go hard. Yeah. there. Okay.
What they're designing now, it might be something that they're going to create a heart and that you could, through your phone, pump your heart. I mean, who knows?
Cal State LA runs the Launchpad Summer Program for girls entering their senior year of high school.
We have the majority of female students that come to Cal State LA, but we only have 10% females in the College of Engineering, Computer Science and Technology, and because of that, we obviously want to increase that.
The students have been learning all things techie and scientific for the last 2 weeks, and now they're ready for the final event, showing off their handiwork in this kitty phone dance competition. Already, the STEM experience has changed hearts and minds.
Knowing that technology is advancing, I was like, you know what, engineering is also something that I want to be part of.
The Launchpad program just might get these new innovators to make a career switch as they prepare to enter college next year. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The students came from 10 different local high schools. Well, if you ride the bus or train, you probably spend most of your time on your phone listening to music or reading. It's easy to get distracted and lose sight of things happening around you, which could lead to an accident. But as Rasha Goel explains, Metro officials are hoping a new safety campaign will help commuters get back on the right track.
I'm at Union Station, where Metro officials are passing out information regarding rail safety. Now, September is Rail Safety Month, and we often get so comfortable with riding buses and trains that we forget some of the simplest rules. They're here to remind us. 18 pop-up safety events will be held at rail stations and community events through the month of September to provide the public with information on rail safety.
Just making sure that when people are riding our trains or on our platforms that they're aware, they know what's happening, and that safety is number one for their concern and our concern.
Officials say with new rail lines opening up, they want to remind passengers about practicing safe behavior around Metro trains. And some top priority issues are
people waiting behind the yellow strip on the platform, so staying behind that yellow line. A lot of, I think, with where we're at today with technology, everyone's texting, looking down on their phones, not paying attention, so making sure that they're alert, as well as even earphones. A lot of people don't realize our trains are very quiet, and so with that, we always ask people, remove your headphones, kind of be alert with what's happening around you.
And while passengers may be running in and out of stations, they did have a few minutes to stop and get the details.
I love it. I think it's a great idea, okay, because people need it. They need to be informed.
As an everyday rider, I do see some people who try to catch up to the train by either crossing, the rail guards that come down, or trying to get a little bit closer to the edge. So I think it's very important for them to promote this kind of issue.
As promoted through the campaign, don't forget, safety begins with you. From Union Station, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Metro officials say with new lines opening up, it is especially crucial to remind passengers about train safety. What if dreams of playing professional sports don't pan out? One former NFL player shares his story, and as Gil Reyes reports, he also issues a challenge to 4 high school teams with prize money at stake.
Go! 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 Say go! 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 Give me 1 clap. Give me 2 claps.
The Eagle Rock High School football team gets pumped for a visit from a local hero. Former Green Bay Packer Jonathan Franklin was a star running back at LA's Dorsey High School, UCLA, and he also played 1 pro season with the Packers until a spinal contusion ended his NFL career 3 years ago.
I was doing so well. I had my dream. I had everything. And it was taken away from me. But thank God I was blessed to focus on my education. And when my career ended, I had something else to bounce back on. That was my degree.
Franklin now works community outreach for the Los Angeles Rams. His job today? To announce an academic competition to football teams from Eagle Rock, Crenshaw, Fairfax, and San Fernando high schools.
Now, at the end of the season, each team's GPA will be calculated, and the team with the highest grade point average will then receive a $2,500 grant, courtesy of the Rams, to receive new football equipment, plus tickets to a free Rams home game.
Really educate these kids and help them understand the power of academics and how far it could take them in life beyond just a sport.
To be able to focus on something else other than winning football games, whether it's academics or building their character, I think it's really important to address. I think it's great of the Rams to think of it and approach it in this way.
Eagle Rock coach Andy Moran says the winningest teams he's ever coached were also the highest achievers in the classroom, so the two are connected. Principal Mylene Kipe agrees.
It's education and athletics together. We can't have athletes who are not eligible. We can't have athletes who only focus on the field and not on education.
Wide receiver Darius Doherty is a team captain in the challenge. He says he'll motivate Eagle Rock to hit hard and hit the books this season.
I got people's phone numbers. I'm going to text you like, man, you do your homework tonight. You know, we got grade day tomorrow, man. If football doesn't work, then I would like to go to Channel Islands. I know that for sure because they have a good business program, and that's something I'd like to pursue in my life.
Sounds like a winning game plan. From Eagle Rock High School, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Since returning to Southern California last year, the LA Rams have teamed with LA Unified. The team has donated some 40,000 items like footballs, shirts, cleats, and jerseys to high school football programs. A busy public space in Council District 1 becomes much more pedestrian-friendly. a special recognition for the LA City Attorney's Office, and celebrating local artistic and musical talent. All these stories in City Beat. LA City Council member Gil Cedillo cut the ribbon on the Hoover Triangle Transportation Hub project. The project evolved from residents and businesses advocating for irrigation repairs to make the triangle greener and provide lighting and benches for transit riders. The Hoover 23rd Street Union Triangle Plaza project was a collaborative partnership between city family agencies and USC's student design team. Funding for the project was provided by Cedillo's office, and the Bureau of Street Services provided the construction services. Project elements include security lighting at the bus stops and within the plaza, a multi-use area, benches, trash receptacles, drought-tolerant landscaping, new sidewalks and ramps, outdoor tables, seating, and bike racks.
I want us to think big, to have our imagination be the limits of what we build here. And so this is the completion of the first phase.
Los Angeles City Attorney Mike Feuer's office was recognized as 2017's Outstanding Public Sector Law Office from the American Bar Association. It's the first city attorney's office in the nation to receive the prestigious Hodson Award, which recognizes sustained outstanding performance or a specific and extraordinary service by a government or public sector law office. The city attorney's office works on a variety of issues, from consumer protection and criminal justice reform to important public rights cases that have national or state impact. The community came out recently to have some fun during Made in LA, a two-day music and arts festival celebrating the diversity of LA's cultural landscape. A variety of bands and musicians took to the stage while artists showcased their work. A portion of the proceeds went to local LA-based charities.
Two-day event here at our brewery celebrating LA-based musicians and visual artists and LA-based culture.
Looking to play ball or a place to swim in the valley? Well, look no more, as a new state-of-the-art recreation center just opened its doors in Woodland Hills, and residents couldn't be happier. Rasha Goel shows us the new facility.
Nothing like a new pool, basketball court, and a park with free Wi-Fi. Residents of the West Valley region are excited to celebrate the opening of the Woodland Hills Recreation Center.
What a great place for young people to develop their athletic skills, stay healthy, get away from the internet and computers.
Exactly. Get outside for a little bit.
Former Los Angeles Clipper player Lamont Murray talked about the privilege of having a facility like this.
As basketball players, we didn't have AC like you have here. Beautiful facility with AC, that didn't exist, okay? We're out here on the blacktop, just working on our craft.
The facility has undergone extensive renovations that include a new gymnasium, indoor stage, and playground equipment. The center will offer activities and classes for kids, adults, and seniors.
Everything is environmentally friendly, energy conservation, water conservation, but no lack of recreational opportunities.
You have to have that to have a successful community, to have a safe community.
The center was under construction for 2.5 years.
We need to strive for healthy families, for active families, to keep kids in positive programs, and adults as well.
This slam dunk is sure to enhance the lives of the residents in this neighborhood. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
To find out about classes and programs offered at the Woodland Hills Recreation Center, check out laparks.org and then search the center name under Facilities. Well, gather with friends and neighbors for a West Side block party, or head over to Abbot Kinney for an eclectic street festival. And there's plenty to see and do in the valley, too, during the Reseda Rising Art Walk. All this in this week's Things to Do. The Emerson Avenue Community Garden is hosting the second annual Westchester Arts and Music Block Party, a free day-long community event filled with live music and dance, art, vendors, kids' activities, garden tours, food, and socializing. All hosted in and around the garden in Westchester. The festival brings together art, music, dance, gardening, and community in the middle of LA, the creative capital of the world. The event takes place Saturday, September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Emerson Avenue between West 80th Street and West 80th Place in Westchester. Now in its 33rd year, the Abbot Kinney Festival takes place along a mile-long stretch of the world-famous Abbot Kinney Boulevard in Venice, arguably the coolest block in America. The Boulevard's eclectic boutiques, artisan eateries, and influential art galleries infuse the festival with local flavor that makes this event unique and not to be missed. So join the fun on Sunday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more, visit abbottkinney.org. Still buzzing from last year's resounding success, the highly anticipated Reseda Rising Art Walk and Night Market returns, bringing another night of San Fernando Valley's best local artists, vendors, and brewers. With an attendance of over 8,000 people last year, this year's event is expected to make an even bigger mark on the Valley's ever-growing footprint among the LA's art and brewing community. The event is sponsored by the Office of Councilmember Bob Blumenfield as part of the larger Reseda Rising initiative geared to providing new investment and revitalization to the area. The festival takes place Saturday, September 23rd from 5 to 10 p.m. on Sherman Way in Reseda. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Well, they will have to take two, 'cause I've got trouble holding this man of mine.
Hi, I'm Gina Ray, and this is my dog Whippet. We're from Winnetka. Get it, girl. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. This is our city and our channel.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If you please take your seats. Today is Tuesday, September 19th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Friday. Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. O'Farrell moves and Ms. Martinez seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Buscaino moves and Harris Dawson seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay, let's all rise. We'll be led today by David Rue in our flag salute.
Please stand, and if you could put your right hand over your heart, and ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rue. If we can go through the agenda at this point.
Mr. President, there are requests to continue several items. Item 1F to October 27th, items 2 and 3 to November 8th, and item 7 to December 13th.
Okay, so without objection, so ordered. Keep going.
And Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that item 1B be received and filed as the lien has been rescinded.
Okay, continue.
Items 1 through 6 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do you have cards?
Yes, there are cards on all items.
Okay, continue.
Items 7 through 20 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials, members, any specials? Let's prepare to vote on these items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Continue.
And for the record, those are 12 ayes.
Thank you.
Items 21 through 29 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, there are cards on all items.
Okay, continue.
Mr. President, that takes council back to presentations, items called special or general public comment.
Okay, Mr. Koretz, would you like to start the day off? Then the floor belongs to Mr. Koretz. Okay, Mr. Spindler and Mr. Herman, we're doing a presentation. You guys are not part of it, so it's your first warning for today. Okay. Mr. Koretz, floor is yours.
Thank you. I think we're going to begin with a video.
A local girl named Robin was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and now her mom is on a mission to fund research at UCLA that can lead to better detection and perhaps a cure. This is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and tonight our Serene Branson has Robin's story, a story every woman needs to see.
Robin was very charismatic. She was very friendly. She was warm.
Paulinda Babini called Robin a dream daughter, student body president, cheerleader, homecoming queen at Pacific Hills High School in West Hollywood.
At 16, Robin used to wake up every morning and say to me, "Mom, I'm nauseous."
But doctors didn't find anything wrong.
We had a book here, a medical book, that talked about different symptoms for different diseases, and Robin said to me prior to her diagnosis, "Mom, I have ovarian cancer." And I said, from my education that I was aware of, "Robin, you're only 17. I never, ever thought a young woman could get the disease.
Months later, they landed in the ER, Robin in terrible pain. A scan revealed 4 tumors.
They cut her open and found her whole reproductive system was filled with cancer. She says to me, "Mom, I have ovarian cancer, don't I?" And we said yes, and that was the start of a very rough period.
She completed 6 rounds of chemo and wearing hair extensions spoke at her graduation.
This past year, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was then that I saw the strength of this family and how important it truly was to me.
She started her freshman year at UCSB and joined a sorority.
Ovarian cancer has a 50% chance of recurring. And all I could think was, please let us be on the side that doesn't recur. But 6 months later, it had come back.
It had metastasized, and at 20 years old, Robin lost her battle. With no cancer in the family, Paulinda has now made ovarian cancer education and fundraising her life's mission.
She used to say, "Mom, there has to be a reason why this has happened to me." And I guess because of what happened to her, this is what I've made, this is my passion, and this is what I will do the rest of my life.
She started the Ovarian Cancer Circle and raised more than $120,000, directing it to UCLA's Go Discovery Laboratory and Dr. Sanaz Mamarzadeh.
We don't really have any good early detection tests. A common scenario that I see in my practice is that women come in, and at that point, they already have disease that has disseminated. Majority of women, 75%, are diagnosed with stage 3 or 4 tumors.
Dr. Mamarzadeh said despite precise surgery and chemo, some cells are resistant, so it comes back. Although more people are diagnosed with breast and prostate cancer, ovarian is much more fatal because of that. Ovarian cancer affects 22,000 women on an annual basis. More than half lose their battle within 5 years. While cases like Robin's are rare, they see young patients, although it typically occurs in postmenopausal women. Blood tests and the BRCA gene test don't always show ovarian cancer. They didn't for Robin. That's why research work is focused on an early detection test and treatment.
We have very good data to demonstrate that we can intervene, and we have ways of eliminating these cells.
Researchers say the money raised so far has already allowed them to collect some very promising data, but what they'd like now is funding for clinical trials. That hope inspires Paulinda to keep fundraising and educating women to learn the symptoms and ask your doctor for an ultrasound at your annual exam. It's a road she feels Robin is helping her walk.
She inspires me, she motivates me, she keeps me young, and she keeps me going. So she's still here. Not physically, but spiritually, she's with me every single minute of every single day.
And that was Kcon Serene Branson reporting. Robin's mom hosts 2 fundraisers a year. The next one is in November. For more information on that fundraiser, Ovarian Cancer Circle and Go Discovery Lab at UCLA, just go to our website, kconline.com, and click Seen on TV.
Mr. Kretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ovarian cancer, as you've seen, is one of the deadliest gynecological cancers. More than
Mr. Kretz, stop. Mr. Spindler? If I mention your name one more time, then you're going to be removed from the chambers. This is a very serious presentation. We're not going to play around with you these stupid games in the morning. Mr. Kretz. Sergeants, you too, Mr. Herman. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. More than 22,000 women are diagnosed each year with a 50% mortality rate. And part of its high mortality rate is because detection usually is too late. And those who fight it successfully, as was noted in the video, have a 50% chance of it recurring. Ovarian cancer can happen to any woman of any age. Pap tests do not detect ovarian cancer. Women must request the test, and too often insurance companies won't cover it anyway. Today we'd like to recognize the Ovarian Cancer Circle that was inspired by Robin Babini, who lost her life with her battle in her life with ovarian cancer at a devastatingly young age of 20, as you saw in the news story. We're joined today by her mother, Paulinda Shimmel Babini, who gathered up her heartbreak And on behalf of all of her daughters, sisters, aunts, and mothers who have been struck by this disease, she created this organization. She got busy and founded the Ovarian Cancer Circle, and she's here today with her team. Through this nonprofit organization, Paulinda has made ovarian cancer education and fundraising her life's mission. First, we'd like to hear from our council colleagues, Councilmember Martinez, and then Councilmember Rodriguez, and then we'll hear from Paulinda.
Thank you, Councilmember Koretz. Ovarian cancer is a serious issue that women need to be more aware about. One of the most striking things to me is how much success doctors have in beating cancer if it's caught early. Unfortunately, too often women don't catch it on time, and screening for ovarian cancer isn't a routine procedure. And sometimes it's not even covered by your health insurance. The most important message I could share today is the importance of contacting your doctor if you're having symptoms that last for more than a couple of weeks. And as local leaders, we must work with our state and federal counterparts to find out why ovarian cancer screening isn't already paid for. Why do most insurance plans cover testicular screenings but do not cover ovarian screenings? This preventative measure could save the lives of thousands of women per year. There should be a screen available to women, and it should be already routine as part of your checkup every year. We know that approximately 22,000 women will be diagnosed this year. But since very few women check to see if they have the symptoms of ovarian cancer, usually you don't find out until the very late stages. And to think that so many women can be walking around today in this very building not knowing if they have ovarian cancer is something that I just cannot fathom. In proclaiming today Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day, I hope that more women in Los Angeles will see their doctors for screening, and hopefully their insurance company will pay for it. We know that taking action early will save lives. This is an important presentation. I'd like to thank Mr. Koretz and the remaining advocates for advocating for women's health in Los Angeles. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, colleagues, and I'd also like to thank Councilmember Koretz for bringing this important presentation here to Council today, and also to all the women that stand behind me alongside me, like Councilwoman Martinez, who's been a staunch advocate for assuring that women have a strong voice. It's really important that we serve as these advocates when we talk about not just ovarian cancer, but all the other gynecological diseases that can be detected early. Should women be afforded that opportunity to get these important screenings, would make an incredible difference to the lives of many, many women throughout the city of Los Angeles, throughout the state, and throughout this country. We know that we have not had a strong representation in the healthcare advocacy world. In fact, with Pap smears, they've actually dialed back the years in which we are required to annually have these types of services that are covered by our insurance companies. This is the kind of advocacy we need to lead here on the Los Angeles City Council, working with our state and federal partners at a time when we are having these important conversations with healthcare. We need to make sure that women are at the forefront of these conversations, and I'd like to thank these ladies behind me for being that strong advocate to assuring that we are going to provide these opportunities for more women to catch these types of cancers much earlier. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce Paulinda, Shimmel, Babini, and there are also some other cancer survivors here that would like to say a few words.
Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Councilman Koretz, Councilman Rodriguez, Councilman Martinez, City Hall members, and guests. On behalf of the Ovarian Cancer Circle, my dedicated team, myself, and Dr. Mamarazadeh, thank you so much for recognizing today as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day. This is truly an honor. Today's prominent recognition certainly helps increase and further the awareness. Ovarian cancer is a very difficult cancer to diagnose and even more challenging one that is difficult to treat successfully. This circle's bookmark lists the symptoms and how to be proactive. I think you have it on your desks. And it helps for women's health care. It's been a useful tool for many women in catching this cancer much earlier, significantly improving the survival rate. The Circle will continue this vital mission to educate and raise funds for this critically needed early detection test. I truly believe if I had known then what I know now, Robin would be here today telling the story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paulinda. And now today with us are ovarian cancer survivors Jing Lee and Flower Miller. And Flower would like to say a few words as well.
Welcome,
Hi.
Flower.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Oh.
Welcome.
Okay. So I'm 44. I live in Venice. I've been married for 15 years. I have 3 daughters, 14 years old and 2 10-year-olds. And I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 3C, April 24th of 2014. I was devastated by that. And the statistics were obviously not in my favor, so it was a really, really scary diagnosis. But then I was sent over to Dr. Mamarzadeh and her team. She had a plan for me, so I had 2 surgeries. I went through 8 rounds of chemotherapy, and I arrived at remission in November of 2014. And I have successfully stayed there. Thank you. I immediately was entered into a clinical trial that was 2 years, and I just finished that some months back. So, I'm here. I'm so nervous. I had more to say, but I'm blanking on all of this right now. I just wanted to say, actually, that I so appreciate you all hearing me and shining a light on ovarian cancer awareness, because that's really where it begins. And through Paulinda's efforts with the Ovarian Cancer Circle, bringing awareness and then fundraising, that fundraising transfers into dollars, which the dollars we can support Dr. Mamarzadeh, where she can take action to, research better outcomes, better treatments, and help moms like me, moms, sisters, daughters, to stay. And that's all that I ever really wanted. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we're so glad to have the survivors that are here today, and congratulations to them on their success in fighting this disease. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Sanaz Mamarzadeh. She's a professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at UCLA and the director of Go Discovery Laboratory. She's also a leading-edge scientist and ovarian cancer surgeon. She's treated countless women with this disease, and they have had a profound influence on both her medical practice and her research. She joins us now to discuss the ongoing challenges in ovarian cancer research and the possibility of future treatments that could one day lead to a cure.
Thank you. I'm incredibly humbled to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to thank Councilman Koretz, Martinez, Rodriguez, and the City of Los Angeles for naming today Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day. I'd also like to sincerely thank Paulinda Shimmel and her tireless group of women who have worked with her throughout the years for raising awareness and also research funds for research related to ovarian cancer. Paulinda and my team at the Go Discovery Laboratory have now worked together for the past 7 years. I think we've made major progress, but clearly there's more work to be done. I founded the Go Discovery Laboratory in 2008, and my goal was to utilize leading-edge research to help improve lives of women impacted by ovarian cancer. As a doctor who treats women and patients who are diagnosed with ovarian cancer at UCLA, and also has the privilege of taking care of women veterans of our country at the West Los Angeles VA Hospital, I am acutely aware of the shortcomings of standard treatment. The challenge is that despite doing surgery and administering chemotherapy, the cancer unfortunately can come back in many cases. So we utilized our scientific knowledge and also medical knowledge and a group of scientists in the lab to try to understand what causes this. And I think that we've made major progress by analyzing multiple patient tumor samples. What we have learned is that while most of the cancer cells respond to standard treatment, we always find a small subset that seems to be pre-existing and resistant to existing therapies. These cells are not only resistant, but they also have cancer-initiating capacity. They're regenerative, so they can very readily regrow the tumor. We think this is why this cancer relapses despite administration of standard therapy. But more importantly, we have studied these resistant cells extensively, and we have found pharmacologic strategies that can deactivate these mechanisms of resistance. And then when we combine these approaches with standard treatment in preclinical models, we can actually eradicate the cancer. We have several of these approaches that show promise, and we'd like to take the first of these approaches, using a precision medicine approach, into a clinical trial. Thus far, our work has been funded by generous philanthropic support by Paulinda and the Ovarian Cancer Circle, inspired by Robin Babini, other philanthropic sources, foundations, and also federal funding. We are ready to launch the clinical trial. The only thing between us and starting the trial is actually funding. So we are seeking funding at this moment in time and hope to be able to be successful in launching this trial that I think potentially can help many women with ovarian cancer. This is why advocacy groups led by Paulinda and the Ovarian Cancer Circle are so important. And this is why today, calling today, September 19th, Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day by the City of Los Angeles will help this cause, bring more voices to this conversation. We are in this together. We are a team, and I'm confident that together we can conquer this challenge. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. And hopefully this is the beginning of an effort to more broadly seek funding for this, and a role that we probably can play. This is the beginning of an effort to engage in better testing processes as well. We absolutely can't allow this to be a test that doctors don't ask for and hospitals don't ask for and insurance companies don't cover. So we can save lives, and this is that beginning of that effort here today. And so having said that, we'd like to declare today Ovarian Cancer Day and present a certificate to the organizers of this effort.
You know, Mr. Koretz, Ms. Rodriguez, and Ms. Martinez, maybe, Paul, as a council, we can do a resolution to the state, getting someone in Sacramento that would demand that insurance companies pay for this type of testing. In fact, why don't we try to put that together as soon as possible? I'd love to join the three of you in that, and then we'll let us find the right person in Sacramento that can, if nothing else, we can generate a conversation on the state level. And usually when conversations begin, that's when you begin to see changes. So I would love to have this council take the lead in requesting that the state. We will do that, and we will do that. And we need some juice in Mr.
We will do that very thing, and since we both have a few contacts in the state legislature, having been there, I think we can find an author and make that effort.
Yeah, I think we should try to have that ready to go by next week or so. That's something I can run right out of my committee. All right. Anyways, thank you for all your work. Let's give them another round of applause. God bless you all.
Andrew. I got the video ready, right?
You're speaking for some video. Looks like it's at the end.
I did the video before you.
Yes. So.
So sorry about that, Mr. Rue. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Council President and colleagues. This is an exciting morning because K-pop has come to City Hall this morning.
Give them a round of applause. Thank you for coming.
Or at least the spirit of K-pop. We don't have any performers today. Because I am joined by 5 astonishing individuals from CJ Corporation and Music and Entertainment Division who has just successfully planned and coordinated their 6th annual Kcon. And Kcon is a convention that is dedicated to sharing South Korean entertainment, music, and culture around the world with people of diverse backgrounds and heritage. Since its inception in 2012, Kcon has become a worldwide event and has a presence in Mexico City, Tokyo, Paris, Abu Dhabi, and Australia. Kcon in 2017 grew significantly since 2012. From just in Los Angeles alone, they had 12,000 attendees in its first year to 85,000 attendees this past August, with 93% of the attendees from outside Los Angeles and 43% of them from outside Southern California. But most importantly, Kcon has tapped into the diverse tapestry of Los Angeles, with 55% of the attendees were non-Asian, of which 27% were Hispanic. And this event also boosted the local economy, with over 250 brands and businesses showcased, with 90% of them being local over the 3-day convention. Now, Kcon brought South Korea to Los Angeles, but besides the diversity and cultural immersion, for the city of Los Angeles, this convention had an economic impact of $20 million. And it's because of events like this that our city and our convention center had one of its most productive and historic years, to breaking all records and having the highest revenues generated this year. Now, I'm very proud to be able to recognize the individuals who started this movement in 2012. And with me today are Vincent Lee, President of CJ Corporation, Sung Yup-seo, co-CEO of CJ America, Angela Killoran, Chief Operating Officer, Sang-hun Cho, Chief Strategy Officer, Ginny Choi, Head of Marketing, Justin Lee, Head of Partnerships, and Ki-jo Kim, Head of Kcon. Now I'd like to direct everybody's attention to the screen to show a short recap of Kcon this year. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Now I'd like to invite Angela Killoran to speak on behalf of CJE&M.
Thank you. Dear members of the City Council, Council President Wesson, Councilman Ryu, we appreciate the recognition for our event today. CJ is a Korean company. It is one of the top 10 largest companies in Korea. CJE&M, the Entertainment and Media Division, is Korea's leading entertainment company. That said, the awareness and the impact that Kcon as an event has, that is facilitated by our having started here in Los Angeles, the global entertainment capital, as well as the diverse tapestry of the city of Los Angeles, has been incredibly key to our development. Just this past year, for Kcon in New York and LA, we believe we generated over 3 billion media impressions, which is of huge, obviously, great impact to the global understanding of Korean culture, but more importantly, celebrating the diversity that is embraced in Los Angeles. As Councilman Ryu mentioned, over 50% of our audience comes from outside of Southern California, travels to Kcon. Over 50% we've been doing this for 6 years now. We started in Irvine, and we find that over 50% of our audience comes back year after year. And we're so proud that not only through our own efforts, but through staying in the hotels, spending at the local businesses, our economic impact is growing larger and larger. And on the one hand, we may be a Korean company, but our people who are behind this event, our staff members, our key staff members who are here with us today, 4 out of 5 are Korean American. We come from hometowns as diverse as Philadelphia, Alaska, Wisconsin, also Los Angeles. And we've made our homes here. And to be able to have started with this event and to be here today to be recognized by the City Council is an incredible honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And we'll also have Sang-Hun Choi, the Chief Strategy Officer, say a few remarks as well.
Thank you, City Council. I don't have a prepared remark, but I wanted to share something that I heard on the radio this morning. I heard on the radio this morning that the city of Los Angeles was voted 12th most fun city in America. And I don't think this is high enough. So as we grow this event, we'd like to pledge to bring up the ranking to top 5, if not the most fun city in America sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David, you're in charge, moving us from 12 to at least 5.
We got the whole strategy team here from CJ. And, and this year I was honored to present them and recognize their achievement for helping the city of Los Angeles become not just the funnest city, but an exciting city, and the economic impact is unparalleled. But next year, I promise to bring them before Kcon starts to invite everybody, and they wanted to make sure every council member was extended the invitation so you yourself could actually see, not just enjoy the concert, but see the economic impact at the convention center, which is packed to the brim, and Councilmember Price's district with all his leadership. So again, next year we could have yet another record-breaking year for economic impact for the city of Los Angeles. So next year they'll be here again before the convention, before Kcon, to invite you all and all staff so everyone could partake in the blossoming K-pop and K-drama that's known worldwide. Now, with that, I'd like to present a resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles and all the City Council members, hereby recognizing and commending Kcon for creating a highly successful platform to share the culture of South Korea.
Thank you, guys, and congratulations. Okay, Madam Clerk, why don't we begin with our public comment? Could I get Mr. Spindler up on my screen? Okay, Mr. Spindler, you have items 1A through E, items 4 and 5. And I guess that's it, Mr. City Attorney.
No, there's more, bastard.
Go ahead.
He signed up on other items, too. So, number 1, liens. Fuck you. No liens. We don't want any liens in this city under these conditions anymore. Get rid of illegal liens and interest, especially in CD number 7. Yes, that's the new councilwoman on West Beaver Street. Yes, where the beavers are. We want CD 7 to remove the beaver from the beaver list. Yes. Then number 2, protest and public works and gang reduction to vacate. Vacate.
You don't have a card on number 2. So like I told you, you have 1, A, B, C, D, E, and then you can go from there. You go to items 4, you go to item 6, the other item, and then you do have items 21, 22, and 23, but you don't have 2, so go ahead.
My time, yes. So, do we have item number 5 for public convenience? Yes. But we cannot...
You don't have, Mr. Spindler, you don't have 5. I gave you, signed up. I'm telling you the ones that you can sign on, you can speak on, and you have to stay. So the next item that you can speak on is item 4 and 6.
Do you understand that?
Yes, okay. Fuck number 4. We want legal weed. We do not want to abate the use of weed. We want legal marijuana access for all Angelenos. No more weed abatement assessment. The voters voted in favor of weed, and we want legal weed. Right, Mr. Harris Dawson? Right, because he gets high every morning.
Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject.
He looks so young. Okay, now we have... What other bullshit? Don't we have an alcohol license in addition? Yes.
Well, go on. Maps.
Okay, maps? We do not want maps. If you want a map, go to McRand-Nally. Yes, McRand-Nally. Those are the 2 Irish cocksuckers that had the copyright on the map.
Speaker's off topic, Mr. President.
Okay, give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay.
So as you can see, this morning I took a shit. And this is a good thing because this week we're going to be able to clean the oceans. So do it in a bag week. And they're going to have this presentation this Friday. So please put your shit in one of these doggy bags and deposit it at those doggy bag receptacles you see. Don't flush, bag it like you bag your lunch. Bag of shit instead of bag of lunch. That's what I always say, and I know that Jose Huizar, thank you for the idea, I got it from him. And of course, nobody can be able to speak at this meeting because the criminal up there, Mr. Criminal President, and the other 14 jackoffs allow this guy to violate the Brown Act. Finally, this place is a fire trap. It's dangerous. It's outdated.
Thank you.
Fuck.
Your time is expired. Let's bring up Mr. Walsh on my screen, please. Okay, Mr. Walsh, you have items 1A, 1B. You have 4, 5, 6, 23, 24, and 28. And then general public comment. Yes, sir.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Building and safety, as I said many times, I've been here since '66. You do a good job on building and safety. When you do a good job, I say it. I don't say you're on a bunch of minority crooks, the way other white people say it. Number 4, and that's weed and brush assessment. You don't do a good job on weed and brush assessment. This whole city is about to go up in flames. Number 5, this is sale of. We need more places to buy alcohol. And remember, every time someone is hit and run, the blood is on your hands, Ms. Martinez and Mr. O'Farrell, because we have more places to buy alcohol, and we have the highest rate of hit and run in the city, and you scumbags continue to hand out these number 23. You can just hand out as many of these licenses to sell alcohol as you want to, and the result is dead people. And incidentally, most of the people who are killed in hit and run are not white and not Jewish. They're your color, Ms. Martinez, and you have the blood of them on your hands. Okay. 23. This is a local emergency by the mayor. Oh, we will talk about local emergencies during public comment. There was an emergency here Friday. There was a fire alarm in the building. It was not a false alarm. We'll talk about that during my 1 minute. And no story in the media. Okay, and then number 24. They vacate a street for the developers. That's all the city is run for, the developers. Meanwhile, in the valley, in the Hispanic area, the lead is poisoning the people, and wouldn't happen in the Jewish area west of La Brea. It only happens in your area, Ms. Martinez. Because I'll say one thing for you white people, you defend the white people, while the Martinezes and the rest of you sell their brown-skinned people.
Okay, Mr. Walsh. Now,
Okay.
Mr. Walsh, before you neglected to put in a card or push the button for general public comment, so I know that was an oversight on your part.
Yeah,
So I'm going to give you the minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
2 weeks ago, Friday, September 8th, at around the same time, the fire alarm went off. You were scared bleepless, Mr. President, and the building was evacuated. When the fire department came in, they found a burst fire pipe downstairs. If someone had been near it, they would have been killed. This building is a fire trap, and you didn't want the story. There were 7 cameras, not 2, 7 cameras here. No story about it. The scumbags at City News Service didn't cover it. This whole area was evacuated because it was a danger, and they're not doing anything about it, and sooner or later, this building is going to go up in flames because you don't give a syphilitic rat's ass about fire safety.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Let's bring up Mr. Herman. If you put him on my screen, Mr. Herman, please. Okay, Mr. Herman, you have items 1A, item 6, 21. Then you have items 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and then your general public comment. So go ahead.
Well, we all know that such code violations and compliance is unconstitutional, and I believe Ms. Rodriguez should waive all the 300% interest due to the fact that building safety never, ever, will ever go send out a certified mail of registration to comply. Now, when you get an asshole like that knocking on your door and posting something for no one to answer to, and you come home and guess what? Surprise, Hugo Rossiter. Then there's a lot of trouble with that. That's item 1, called a lien. A lien to my right, lien to the left. Then I go into item 6, more alcohol. You know what I think about alcohol? It's a good disease. It's an excellent disease for all of us to enjoy necessity and convenience, so that all the shit that we get from Los Angeles for restaurants, business, stores, and whores falls under the issue of negligence, willful discrimination to people of minority who have to suck up a can of beer called a 40 every day because of convenience and necessity. Convenience and necessity for alcoholism. It's a sure disease. Matter of fact, it kills people every year without discrimination. The same way I have my uterus cancer, bitches. Then I'm going to go to the rear of the book regarding the vacant Godoy issue. And let's read it into the record. Deleting previous conditions of Linda Rosa Avenue, not Linda Rostrand, your singer, right? But rather, let's name it Godoy Street after Jose Huizar.
Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject.
Continued consideration of motion by Huizar and Englander. I'm on topic on CD 14, item number 170045, item 24. Fuck you, white niggers, too.
Now you're
then
off
I go
topic.
into item.
Let him go to his general public comment.
Now
all right.
we have the issue of Napper, Napper versus the County of Sacramento, dealing with who would suffer regressive consequences. It's the people in LA called homelessness. The homeless crisis brought by you because you don't want to clean up the shit. Bag your shit and take it with you. The same way you bring it across the issue on homelessness for the last 5 years. Not one fucking issue resolved for homelessness. HHH, Measure H, Assembly Bill 1618. Fuck you, Kevin DeLeon. And again, Olmstead versus 527 U.S. at 600/001. Even temporarily, you don't deal with the homelessness, let alone with the fire trap in here. So on John Walsh's behalf, fuck you.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. If we could bring up Mr. Previn on my screen. Your time's expired, Mr. Herman. Mr. Previn, you have items 1A, B, C, D, E, items 5, 6, items 21, 26, 27, and 29B.
Thank you, sir. It's Eric Previn from CD2, and I would just like to say thank you for the ovarian cancer item today. There's a group called baldisbeautiful.org that also
The speaker's
focuses on
off
that.
topic.
Yeah, but I just want to chime in on that fundraiser. Thank you. Item number 5 and 6 are both liquor licenses. Item 6 is in my district, convenience or necessity. We're not sure which. I clicked through to the agenda item, and quite frankly, there's no information there. So I assume this must be sort of early in the process, but it raises some significant concerns about, it's on Witsit. It's called Triple Deuces Wine and Spirits. Now, on-site consumption and selling liquor, these things happen in our communities. I'm not against alcohol, but I am really pro, and Mr. Rue, you've been vocal about this, finding a way to stop alcoholism on the road and driving, because as Bonin will admit under pressure, most of the road deaths, 50% are involved alcohol. And pedestrians who get hit by cars late at night in the valley, Mr. Englander, are 30% of them are drunk. So we need something like what they have in Sweden, and I know that Fabel is working diligently on that so that we don't have to sort of line people up, create more traffic, do these checks that often get nobody. Occasionally we'll get a guy who had a glass of wine, but what we want to do is prevent people from getting hurt and make our society safer. So I would appreciate if we would stop approving all of these extra liquor licenses, even though it's not clear that the liquor license is always the problem. Item number 26, as you mentioned, sir, you're extending, I think it's Blumenfield, once again, he's a nice man. He's extending the pool hours in Reseda for a little more because it's still hot out in the valley, and we appreciate it. It raises some of the questions about what we're doing Parks and Rec-wise, and thanks to Mr. Galperin, who just did an expansive look, well, he did not look at Studio City Beaman Park Recreation Center, where we are experiencing something very strange, where Prop K efforts that we are not supportive of have been loaded onto
we veered off topic.
Well, I'm talking
Get back
about,
on topic, Mr.
Pool opening in Parks and Rec that doesn't scan. I mean, Algin Sutton was one of the entities that was expecting a pool from Prop K, but money is shifting into the valley. And then, by the way, $160 million from the Olympics, we know where that's going, sort of Western World, and we look forward to it. Item number 14, if I may, is Mr. Bonin and the helicopter.
No, not 14, Mr. Previn. You add the numbers.
Turn the mic on. Don't
No,
be
you
afraid.
have
All
21, 27, and 29. I don't think you've referenced.
27 is the LA events. We're going Dia de los Muertos, which we all support. What we do not support, and it's 5,800 and something, is to Taste of Soul. The reason why is because of their involvement with other public entities like Mark Ridley Thomas, who's giving $100,000 to Taste of Soul. I love the event, but I don't feel that public money.
Let's give him his minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
I'd just like to finish. Yeah, I'd just like to finish that thought, which is I have nothing against Taste of Soul. I think it's a lovely event. I do not like the idea of harvesting public dollars from agencies for that event, which is what Mr. Bakewell has been doing. He doesn't need to do that because he gets the money from various banks. This year, to his credit and your credit, sir, Wells Fargo will not be flying the banner this year. Last year, despite our many efforts, they did, despite your effort or none therein. Anyway, I just want to conclude by saying the Harvard-Westlake project was scheduled for the September 28th. It's been nixed for now, not canceled, but delayed. And the residents of our community came out and had a big demonstration. It was on all the local news about how upset and concerned we are about such a non-public benefit project happening in the hillside of the Santa Monica Mountains, where Mr. Koretz holds court with the Hillside Federation and all of his many colleagues. So we're hoping that this will go away appropriately, and they will build the parking structure on their own side. And in conclusion, I just want to say to Mr. Cedillo and Mr. Koretz and Ms. Martinez, why didn't you stop Herbalife?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to item number 6. Samir Dahan and Miriam Sontag, please come forward. Item 6. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Councilman. Thank you for letting me speak. I am a member of the community in Valley Village, and there is a licensee trying to open up a liquor store called Triple Deuces Wine and Spirits, and I got a bunch of protests from the ABC, Alcoholic Beverage Control. They don't want a liquor store in that location. It's because too many licensing around there, too many liquor stores. That's it.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'd like to hand it.
Sergeants, if you'd get his paperwork.
Thank you.
Ms. Sontag?
No. Here. Hello, I'm Marion Sontag. I'm trustee for the Sontag Family Trust, who built the center originally off the corner of Riverside Drive and Witsis. We've had a junior market there for 35 years. The last one was known as Gourmet Wine and Liquor. Gotta hold it closer. We're asking for an off-site liquor license, not on-site. I don't know why the printing is wrong. And this is a typical junior market who's been there for the neighborhood for 35 years. The only reason we have a new tenant is the city had to replace a water line on Westlake, and they tore the street up for 2 years, putting their equipment in the middle of the street, and there was no access to our parking lot. It's finished, thank goodness, and we have a new tenant, and he wants the same typical license that we've had all these 35 years. We've never had any police problems.
Thank you. Thank you. No, sir, your time is done. Okay, no, don't interrupt. Your time is done. Okay, so thank you with that. Mr. Herman, you're not engaged in this one, so be quiet or you can leave. So on that item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, I think I have some other general public comment speakers. If you could put Ms. Richardson, Jacqueline Richardson.
Between former Mayor Riordan and former Mayor Villarogrosa, they pulled two Mexican councilmen out of their seats about 2 or 3 years apart because they said they were on drugs. Mayor Villarogrosa, apparently they couldn't get him on drugs, so they got a high-profile woman after him to try to pull him from his office. The Mexican people in this city stood up and they supported him. Whenever something was wrong, they called and told them about it. We don't like this, we don't like that. I heard on the bus, I'm going to call so-and-so. Some Mexican lady say, I'm going to call so-and-so and tell him this and tell him that. He got after his daddy because his daddy liked to take watches. The Mexican people really supported Mayor Villarogrosa when they thought he was in trouble. They stood behind him very, very solidly.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. That concludes our general public comment. Did anyone else sign up for public comment? Everybody's spoken. Okay, so that no more cards. All right, that closes that. Let's go to what's the next item before this body, Madam Clerk?
We can vote on item 1 at this time.
Okay, on item 1, members, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
You want to vote on 4 through 6 at this point?
Yes, items 4 through 6.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And then we can vote on items 21 through 29.
Let's do that. Items 21 through 29. Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
Thirteen ayes.
Thank you. That brings us where?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Mr. Kcon. In fact, just relax. They are posted. They're referred. Does anybody else have? Oh, I think Mr. Kcon is ready. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. President. Forthwith on number 6, please.
Forthwith on item 6 per Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Kcorian's
President.
request. Mr. Koretz.
I'd just like to point out that Mr. Spindler is continuing to bleat like a goat and distract us as much as possible.
Okay, now, you know what?
And now Mr. Herman is shouting.
Mr. Herman, listen. No. You know what, sergeants? He's so agitated. He's borderline about to be arrested.
And he is shouting.
Mr.
in the
Herman,
meeting,
let's get him out.
and he's
Let's get him
continuing
out.
to shout very loudly as he leaves the room.
Very loudly, disrupting.
Still
belligerent.
shouting and still making noise all the way out. And just for the record, in case it's not being picked up on the recording, he's continuing to do it as he leaves.
Okay. All right. So, with that said, where are we, Madam Clerk? We did posting and referrals. Announcements, members. If all could rise for adjourning motions. All in the council chambers, please rise For adjourning motions, Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. It is with great sadness that I ask that we adjourn today in memory of Fred H. Kcon, the father of my communications director and senior advisor, Rick Kcon. Fred Kcon was a boxer and a civil rights and veterans advocate. He passed away on Friday, September 8th. He was 85. He was born on October 23rd, 1931 in Denver, Colorado. Kcon family hunting and fishing trips were regular occurrences growing up near the Rocky Mountains. Junito, as he was known to his Colorado relatives, shared his family's appreciation for the natural environment with his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Kcon served honorably in the U.S. Army, where he fought in the Korean War. An amateur boxer of note in Denver, Kcon continued boxing during his time in the Army, where he won several titles and was called by the press the best boxer at Fort Bragg military base in North Carolina. He enjoyed a long tradition of producing outstanding national amateur prospects. Upon his return from service, Kcon turned pro in the boxing ranks with his childhood friend and future Chicano activist and I Am Joaquin author Rodolfo Corky Gonzalez serving as his fight manager. Through the tutelage and influence of Gonzalez and others outside of the ring, Kcon began to involve himself in civil rights issues facing the Mexican-American community and advocating for veteran rights and issues. In the late 1950s, Kcon moved to Los Angeles, California, where he met and married his loving wife, Margaret Taylor. Kcon joined the American GI Forum, a Mexican-American veterans organization founded by Dr. Hector Garcia in 1948 to address inequities against Mexican-American veterans. Kcon worked for several veteran-focused initiatives, including the American GI Forum's Ser Jobs for Progress, and as a counselor for the Veterans Administration. Kcon rose in the ranks of the American GI Forum of California, at one time serving as state commander, a post he held in high regard and personal pride. His name is inscribed on one of the monuments, along with other deserving veterans and leaders at the Mexican-American All Wars Memorial Site at Cinco Puntos in Boyle Heights. Kcon often considered his time in the military and his time and energy assisting veterans and their families to improve their lives the best time of his life. Kcon passed away peacefully at his El Sereno hillside village home of 47 years, surrounded by his wife, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. He is survived by his wife, Margaret, his children, Debbie, Nora, and Rick, as well as children from a previous marriage, Lisa Joy, Michael, and Gina, as well as dozens of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, loving in-laws, as well as devoted nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts, and uncles. He will be greatly missed and will be long remembered. A great American.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members. I ask that we adjourn today in the memory of musician Dr. Rodinia Preston Williams. She was known throughout the gospel music industry as an exceptional pianist, director, and arranger. She was a child prodigy that worked very, very closely with the great Reverend James Cleveland here in Southern California. She organized an award-winning group called Voices of Deliverance that released 5 gold-selling albums in the 1970s. She started playing piano at the age of 6. She was the junior pianist at Victory Baptist Church, the church of choice for Martin Luther King when he would visit Los Angeles. The church made a great impression on her as a young person and the role that it played in the community, and she grew up to be one of the first and most well-known women that were in the gospel music industry, not as vocalist, but as an arranger, a writer, and an actual musician. Her big brother, Billy Preston, went on from the church to become a very, very famous soul and R&B artist that many of us know. She played and was music director for Brookings Community AME, Second AME Church, Metropolitan Baptist Church, and Victory Baptist Church. Helped bring up such artists as Kirk Franklin, Kurt Carr, and Daryl Coley. She maintained her relationship with the church for all of her life and left such a great legacy for her work that she was inducted to the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 2006, and her work was added to the California State Dominguez Hills African Diaspora of Sacred Music and Musicians. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, sir. Continuing to look to my left. Now I'm looking to my right side. I don't see any more adjourning requests. Members, this meeting's adjourned.